Well, first of all, you got food or you just smoking?
Oh, no. I got food. BLT, baby.
BLT. See, now you got to make me look like a slobby fuck. Wait, can we swear or not?
Do it. Do it.
No, I apologize. But I
No.
went with
This is all informal. It's casual. I'm gonna swear. Don't worry about it.
So I got an Italian beef sandwich from Portillo's. And I got hot peppers on it, giardiniera. So this is like a Chicago hot pepper mix that you put on beef sandwiches. So you like little peppers like this. It's like a pepper mix. Now I'm a little unorthodox. I like to put melted cheese on mine. So some people do this, others don't, but I like to pour some melted cheese on there. So it's kind of like a cheesy beef. But that's that.
Yeah.
And then
So
I
that's how you
also
get
have
traps like yours.
right, yeah, and yeah, no, please, we need to talk about. We'll get to that, but then I have a Chicago style hot dog minus the relish and tomatoes because I tomatoes give me heartburn and I'm not a big fan of relish. So
Mm.
that's that. I thought we would do something a little authentic for today.
I love everything about that. Well,
Now the
the
thing is,
fanciest
I
I
don't actually
got.
like. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the fanciest thing I did was I put salt and pepper on the tomatoes.
That's a great call.
Yeah, spice it
That's a
up a
great
little bit.
call. You have to. You have to, man. You have love it. So I actually don't like to smoke while I eat, so I'm just gonna eat and we could talk and then I'll smoke.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of times I feel the same way. I've been out here with this guy for a little bit though, about 20 minutes now. I just
And
really want to try it, and
oxidation
I couldn't wait.
Maduro?
Yeah, yeah, it's that big fucker, the 56.
That's what I got too. That's what I'm smoking
Yeah,
too. And no, we did not plan that.
that's just synergy, baby. Synergy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think my band even has some oxidation on it. That's a patina band if I've ever seen one.
Probably does, man. A lot of the Maduro is any Maduro you're gonna buy right now is at least a couple years old. Probably.
Yeah.
So I purposely built up heavy inventory in the Maduro so it could age. Because that cigar as it ages has become fantastic. So
Dude, it has. I think this is original release. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I got a couple of boxes when they first come out. I'm on my
I
second
guess
box
you
now.
did. I remember.
Dude, it's like a Milky Way right this moment. It's perfect. Perfect. Just in
Dang,
time
it's
for
a good
Halloween.
thing. It's a good thing you're not in your normal podcast attire.
Oh, these people don't know about that. They
Mm-hmm.
don't know anything about that.
Oh man. You were in Kuwait at that time, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yeah, it's funny. The less freedom you have, the more
Mhm.
you want to express what little freedoms you got.
Sure, sure,
Like
yeah,
walking around an apartment naked,
right,
just because you can.
right.
Oh, you know what else? I had a shower thought because I did shower for you. I did
That's
for
good,
this
man.
thing.
Congratulations.
I know. I like washed my hair,
I
and I was like,
appreciate that.
Mo
Yeah,
deserved this.
thank you. Thank you.
And I was thinking, I was like, Mo is the reason why the Davidoff Aniversario #2 is out of stock. It's vintage now. You're the reason that they stopped carrying it. Picture this: Davidoff Aniversario #2 is like one of the best selling cigars ever.
Hmm.
Patina Connecticut Churchill hits the market. Exit Aniversario #2 stays running.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah,
Coincidence? I think maybe, but
probably.
maybe
But I like where your head's at, Dave. And I
mm-hmm.
appreciate it. more importantly.
Mm. Dude, what is your least favorite patina? I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No,
No, but what is your most favorite? Like, what do you gravitate towards all the time?
there really isn't. There really isn't one, man. You know, so for me, a lot of times I'll just kind of take what we have a good amount of and I'll smoke because that really doesn't matter to me.
Hmm.
Um, but I would say probably the Sumatra I gravitate towards the most um, on a consistent basis, or the Maduro in this size. Those are like, so when we have a good supply of those, I like to dabble, if you will, and partake.
Dude, when I was smoking the Connecticut, that was
Hmm.
absolutely my favorite because, especially with Robusto and then
Hmm.
the Churchill, just
Hmm.
oh, so good. And then the
Hmm.
Sumatra came out, game
Hmm.
over. I was on the
Hmm.
Sumatra train, and that was my absolute favorite. And then the Oro, the Oro
Hmm.
came out, and you just kind
Hmm.
of fucked up my whole world, my whole game
Hmm.
plan right out the window.
Right. Yeah. Um, Crazy, man. Like the Connecticut is the best selling one. And I love the Connecticut. Um, the problem is I don't like to take inventory out of the Connecticut for myself, if that
Yeah,
makes sense. Cause it just, um, no, man, because you gotta be like for me, I'm really strategic about my inventory and stuff. So I don't make unnecessary stuff because that's how you get into trouble and then have to start cutting deals and stuff like that. Now it's
right.
much easier to do when you're a small ass brand like Patina than it is if you're somebody big. Um, but one of the things, man, and I always tell people, and they're a little surprised when I say this, but one of the greatest things that happened at Patina was I never had that COVID like skyrocket. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
all the growth for Patina has been legitimate. Like there was no, so I was like never under any uh what's the delusions of grandeur as a result of like the COVID, like, oh my God, my brand is killing it, we're killing it, we're the best, I'm the greatest, because it just stayed steady. And that ended up being, thank God, one of the best things that happened because we just continued doing the same thing, and kind of slowly. So, and you're a market guy, right? So you understand,
Allegedly.
right, that, when you have, uh, whether it's equities or futures, whatever, you could have that huge run up, but that thing is coming back and it's got to
Yeah,
test those supports, right?
right. You're gonna reversion to the mean.
100%. And so
Yeah.
you want those foundations to be ladders, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
there's a saying, ladders up, elevators down, right? Or stair steps up, elevators down. And that's very true for a lot of things. So
That's a
how
good
you
point,
grow
man.
matters. And
That is a
sorry if
good
I'm
point.
sweating. The hot peppers make me sweat. And I have a cold, so there's that.
Dude, I've been battling something the last 24 hours too.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is.
So,
It is. I think you hit the nail on the head, man. I mean, there was a lot of companies that saw growth. I mean, everybody references the tobacco boom, the cigar boom of the 90s, but then you look at charts of like COVID era, and
hmm.
we surpassed that. We had the most imports to the US
Hmm.
ever.
Hmm.
Incredible.
Hmm.
But we've also seen not everybody shared in that equally,
Right.
and
Hmm.
some brands I think really over leveraged, and
That's it.
they
Yeah.
saw that growth and they doubled down and they took out debt. And now I think that
Mm.
some are hurting a little bit, just anecdotally, just seeing it from the outside
Right, right,
in.
right, right.
But the ones that were able to keep climbing, like you said, at a steady pace and not
Yeah.
go all in, and yeah, that's the magic.
Dude, I don't care what you do for a living. If you're not realistic about your station in it, it's going to be very hard for you to be consistently successful. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? I think all of us as human beings have a inclination to sometimes hype ourselves up more than we really should. And I think sometimes people are too hard on themselves when they really shouldn't be. So, finding that balance um, is really difficult. It's one of the journeys of life. And I can tell you, uh, whatever self-esteem I had before Patina is gone. And but the emotional roller coaster, is crazy. So I think trying to be realistic, always grounding yourself in reality really helps you get through a lot of different things, man.
That's solid advice. So smell your own bullshit, but also give yourself grace.
100%. Because if we were perfect, you wouldn't be human. Right?
Yeah, fair.
So,
Very fair. And speaking of perfection, I still have a perfect track record of not gambling in Vegas.
mhm.
Starting with you. Starting with you. Remember that one night I was like stumbling around trying
Yeah.
to figure out how to get one of my cards to work at the ATM machine because I wanted to say I
Hmm.
gambled in Vegas.
Hmm.
And I felt your arm on my shoulder
Hmm.
and you were like, Dave, what's up? What's happening? And I said, bro, I am having a hard as hell time trying to get cash to gamble
Right.
in Vegas. And you were
Right.
like, you don't need to gamble. You need to go to sleep. I said,
Yeah.
okay.
Man, I've seen gambling ruin a few people that were very close to me. And so I'm hypersensitive to sometimes, especially when someone is, you were in a state of potentially not making the most sound of decisions at that time. So,
Mhm.
a true friend, while I want you to have fun and enjoy everything, I care about you enough that I was like, babe, so, yeah.
Well, it's a fond memory this day.
Yeah, I'm
I
fucking
don't
sweating.
I don't say it with any enmity at all. Like that was just a
Yeah, no, I
really
appreciate it.
fun memory. Looking back, I was like, man, Mo probably saved me from doing some crazy shit.
If I had $1 for every time I've heard that from people, I might be boring, but at least you won't get in any stupid shit.
Dude, and then this time, I think we kept seeing each other after midnight, wasn't
Well, yeah, we don't need to tell anybody about that. No.
it? Man, yeah, we charge for that on our premium OnlyFans.
Oh
Dude,
man,
what is it about PCA and everybody wanting to stay up so late?
I really don't know because I don't. So,
No, especially all the East Coasters that were staying
oh
up
yeah,
so late. What are y'all
mm-hmm,
doing?
yeah,
Like, my partner Kate, she wanted to go to the brewery tonight, and I was like,
mm-hmm,
"You're talking about 7 p.m.?
mm-hmm.
No, no,
Mm.
no, no, no. That's late.
What time do you wake up in the morning?
I mean, usually around 6. So
Okay,
nothing crazy. I used to get up at like
yeah,
4:30 to 5,
right,
but
right,
lately 6 is the norm.
mm-hmm.
But I have an aversion to being out late for some reason. I don't know.
Well, I think there is a inverse correlation between good decisions and the hour of the day, right? So the later it gets, the worse decisions people tend to make. So,
That's fair. That's fair. Plus, I hate driving tired. I hate
mm-hmm,
just being
mm-hmm.
tired in general. Not a fan.
No, suck. And I'm not
Yeah.
a big sleeper, so but I wake up. I try to wake up around 7 every morning, if that day started that way.
But you have that event life too, though.
Oh yeah. So, man, the thing is, a lot of those they're not super late usually. Unless you're in. They usually end around 9 or 10, so it's not too bad. It just depends how far you got to drive to get back to where you're staying. That's the other thing.
Yeah. Dude, speaking of events, man, like how often are you on the road these days? Is that taking a toll?
No, so the last few months, I had some personal stuff I was dealing with. And so I mostly stayed local, did some local events, Indiana, Wisconsin, Chicago area. But I'm gonna get back on the road probably in October, November. But I don't. It's just part of it. I think when you sign up for it, you kind of understand what it's going to take,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, um, these days, and I don't know, a lot of stuff like this has started again. So, over the past few months, I've done more Zooms with cigar groups or podcasts probably than I did all of 23.
Wow.
Because, it kind of died out for a little while post COVID. Everyone just wanted to be
Right.
back out and stuff like
They wanted to
that.
frolic. Yeah.
Yeah, which I understand. So, but no, it seemed to have gained some. And you know what's really exciting, man, is so many of these cigar groups that started together during COVID actually still do it together. And like they hang out together and they virtually herf and stuff like that. So, it's really cool.
I think so too, man. Have you been on the International Cigar Society?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
couple times. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
those
guys are
guys are
awesome.
awesome. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
always banging.
great guys, man. Huge supporters of the brand. Always try to do stuff with them. They actually, which was really cool, man. They do a cigar for their club. So they sent me some samples to smoke with them to see which one would, you know what I'm saying? I was honored for that. I mean, that's really
That's
cool, you
awesome.
know? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I love those guys are fantastic, man. We always have a good time.
Yeah. Awesome dudes. I was
Yeah.
on just recently and they had Hindi on, Henderson Ventura.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just so good to see all the people that you know and the faces from like years now.
Oh,
Years.
dude, a lot of those guys were cigar noise guys,
Right. Right.
you
It's
know?
wild, man. But like so many of
Hmm.
these people we haven't even met in real life, but for
Yep.
years we've been doing virtual events with here and there.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
crazy to think about.
Wait,
Crazy to
you've
think
never
about.
met Cow in real life, right?
No, no,
That's
I sure haven't.
crazy.
I know. Yeah, we got to one of these days, man. I've met Dom,
You met
uh,
Dom.
and Ben. Both of them are blind reviewers, but our previous
Right.
blind reviewer, Ted, not met him in real life, not met Rich.
And he's a cigar noise. He was on cigar noise. That's been
Mm-hmm.
around forever.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy, man. That's
And we
wild.
started podcasting when 2015
Uh,
or maybe 16, but like it's been a long
it,
time.
it was it was either 15 or no, dude, because we came out with the Sultans of Smoke cigar in 2016. So we were podcasting well before that. I think
Yeah.
the cigar review site started in 14. I think we started the podcast sometime in 15. I want to
Yeah.
say.
I think so too. I think so too. And if anybody happens to be watching this and
Hmm.
you want to listen to Mo's voice more, because it is the deep, sultry sounds of Mo, check out the Sultan of Smoke podcast because you will hear him and Drew and Rich and guests and all these people just it's a lounge in your pocket. It's
Yeah,
lounge talk all the time, anytime you want it. It's awesome. I think there's what 230 episodes,
maybe,
240
man.
episodes.
I don't
It's
even
a
know.
shit ton. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy, dude. But dude, that's how we. And you know, when I tell people, who was I talking? I was talking about you with somebody the other day, and they asked me if I knew you, and I said, "Do I know him?" I said, "I've known him for about 10 years. You know, and we used to
Yeah,
podcast together. And when you started your thing was about the same time we started Sultans, and
that's right.
that was it."
Yeah, man. That's crazy to think about. Remember that train that used to come through like
Mm-hmm.
every goddamn time?
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't escape it.
Yeah.
Couldn't
And
escape
when those guys would leave, it was we can get back to the podcast.
it. Yeah.
And then you it's like you were sitting in the middle of nature.
Hmm. And it's funny because right now I don't think you can hear me due to technology. Like almost 10 years later, maybe you can, but it is pouring down rain
Is it
4 feet
really?
from me.
No, I
Yeah,
can't hear it.
it's. I'm going to turn this around. It is just pouring down about 4 feet away.
No way.
Yeah,
Huh.
sure is.
Can't hear a thing.
That's awesome.
I turned
Gotta
down
love
my rab
technology.
I turned down my rabbit ear so you could hear me. That thing is loud, man.
How is it? How does it work? Like, is it good enough? That's my big question.
First of all, if you have carpet, no. If you have kids or younger kids, no. I would not. Um, is it good for one or two smokers? Look at whatever room you decide to smoke in, that's cooked. Will it will it help not go permeate through the house? It will, but there's extra steps that you kind of got to take.
Hmm.
And depending on the size of your dwelling and all of that. So, I think, yeah, it in and of itself will not like make your house smoke free. That's not realistic, you know.
So here's my situation. I've got a nice deck,
Yep.
and it's great for like half the year. Probably 180
Sure.
legit days out of the year. It's perfect. But it gets a little hot in the summer here in Central Virginia, and it gets a
Oh yeah.
lot of bit cold starting like next month.
Yep.
Not Chicago cold, but cold enough that I don't want to smoke 3 or 4 cigars and work
Yeah.
outside. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so I've thought about closing. Well, the garage is closed in, but it's not completely finished. There's a lot of open roof area. So I'd have to
Sure.
like
Yeah.
close in the
Hmm.
ceiling. Or I've thought about like putting a top on the deck and like kind of hardening that structure. But then recently, I've been seeing all the rabbit airs, and I thought, man, people use them so often. What if I just put a rabbit air in like every room? What if you could just smoke in your house as if it's no big deal?
Well, I will tell you that's a very expensive endeavor if you decide to do that.
It's true. It's true. But
That
probably
is,
cheaper than like closing in a deck, with like a
oh
roof on
yeah.
it and everything else.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, there is unless you build a smoke filtration system in your house, you're you're gonna have some in it. You know what I mean? Like that's just
Yeah. Yeah, and I do have 3 kids, so if it's
I
not
mean, they're a little bit
perfect,
older, but they're not like older. You know what I mean?
right,
Yeah, it's tough.
right. So the garage. The garage is my best
Pretty
bet, huh?
much, yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Dude, I
And do
so
you
I
use
go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, so I did this podcast one time with this cigar group, and it was like 40 degrees, and I'm sitting in the garage. I'm frozen. It wasn't it wasn't even 40 degrees. I okay. And those guys are like, God, man, that guy just, man, he's boring. Like he has like no energy. Like, yeah. Yeah, I was sitting in 40 degrees, dude. Like, what do you want from me?
It's
Mhm.
called lethargy at that point, right? Like
Yeah.
frostbite is trying to
Hmm.
say. Wow. Remember you used to do it from your car, right?
Oh yeah, man. And
Yeah.
I will say this that over the years, which is interesting, I actually cannot smoke in a stationary car anymore. It makes me nauseous.
Whoa, I wasn't expecting that. I was thinking
Yeah.
just habit or something, but it really has a physical effect on your person.
Yes. Yeah, because
Wow.
if you, especially if you don't have leather seats, it just sticks to the cloth, right?
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, when I used to smoke in the car, it was freezing outside. So, you're not really opening the windows um all that
Yeah.
much. So it was like a hot box, man. Now, if you have leather and it's not super cold, but it's just cold that you don't want to smoke uh in your garage or something like that, you'll probably be okay. It doesn't
Hmm.
stick as much, but and then you're basically riding around in an ashtray. You know what I mean? Because when you're
And it's not
stationary,
cool.
no, it's not good for you, you know.
No.
But I do like to smoke while driving. That's different.
Hmm. What do you use? Do you have an actual accessory for the ashtray, or do you use like a Pringles can or a Peanuts can or something?
No, so I have this Romacraft Weasel ashtray that Danny Vasquez sent us when he worked there for the Sultans guys. Like a care
Yeah.
package. Yeah. It's like so
Yeah.
that's what I use. That's my ashtray.
Those are legit, man.
Yeah, man, it's
That is
Zycar,
good.
Zycar travel ashtray.
Hmm.
So yeah.
You need the top. You really do. Like even on the deck, I have a few I guess they
Yeah.
used to be things that you put like utensils in the kitchen. Just
Yeah.
like vase looking structures.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But like if you just throw your cigars in there and you don't put a top on it,
Oh yeah.
it starts to smell and nobody likes the smell.
No.
The top is
No.
crucial.
It is, man. I lost the top to that thing, unfortunately. So,
Oh no.
but yeah, I use it.
Oh no.
But dude, it's like just as you get older, your tolerance for things changes. I mean, 10 years ago when we met, all I did was smoke in my car. And but uh, it's just different. I
It
don't
is.
know.
It is. And I think so many things change. Like way back when, I never could have thought that I would be smoking like 4 to 5 cigars a day while I work. But right now, it's hard to think about working without a cigar in hand. It's just kind of what you do, you know?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Dave, what's most interesting about this conversation is there is zero mention of you finding a lounge near you to go smoke at during the winter. And the
Yeah.
reason I say that, and I understand that maybe where you're at, there isn't a lounge that's super close. I don't know. But this is something I feel like has been happening. The, and I include myself in this statement, so I am not. The cigar nerd has kind of left the B&M.
Yes. Yeah.
You,
Totally.
you do not, COVID changed the way cigar nerds consume cigars, especially.
I would change that just a little bit because I was
Okay.
laughing so hard because a long time ago I did have a B&M, but
Yeah.
it was an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
And remember, I used to drive there
Hmm.
at least
Hmm.
once a week. It was just
Hmm.
it was mecca for my cigar experience at the time. But what they did differently was they brought the cigar nerd out in me. Friday Ellis of Governor Cigar and Pipes,
Hmm.
he was
Yeah.
he was a mentor extraordinaire. I mean,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
taught me like community matters, and
Hmm.
he just got me in front of so many brands to try that I had never
Right.
tried before.
Right.
Fast forward to today, at least in my area in Virginia, there's not a lot of smaller brands. There's not a lot of stuff that's not represented in Cigar Aficionado.
Sure.
They want the brands to do the talking for them, which as
Of
a
course.
retailer, I can totally understand.
I
You want
get
to
it.
bring somebody in that people are asking for. And a
Hmm.
lot of these larger brands, they do they do a solid job of putting their products in front of people's eyes, so it's brand
100%,
recognition.
100%.
But I would almost say that the B&Ms kind of left the cigar nerd
Mm-hmm.
because until very recently, I did have a wonderful tobacconist nearby by the name of Tucker Hobby. Awesome
Okay.
dude. He
Wait, is
was
that
new to the
Tucker
cigar industry.
Tobacconist or something like that on Instagram?
That's him. Yeah,
They just started
tobacconist.
following Patina. Okay. Yep. All right. I know what you're
Yeah,
talking about. Yeah.
yeah. Tucker's a great dude, and I don't think he's been in the industry for too long, maybe three and a
Right.
half years. But he just hit the ground running and wanted to soak
Right.
everything up like a sponge. And I love going to this shop because I love talking to him.
Right.
And that was the first time since Governor Cigar and Pipe in Monroe, Louisiana, that I had a B&M experience that was so it was an experience. I didn't go in to buy something and leave, or buy something and
Mhm.
sit down and stare at my phone for a while. Like,
Right. Right.
I wanted to talk to the right people.
100%.
But B&Ms, I feel like by and large, not all of them. There are plenty that are wonderful, but in this area, and probably in a lot of people that are watching this, their area, they don't cater to the cigar nerd, for lack of a better word.
I mean, you're spot on. I mean, we talk about this. I mean, this is why small batch has been so wildly successful. I mean, not as a shameless plug here, but I mean, do you know how many times I have people contact, like, on Instagram or whatever, hey man, I can't find your cigars. Where can I buy them? Stuff like that. I really want to try them. Um, let me like small batch for the boutique brand is Cigar Aficionado, is CI, is Thompson, you know.
I
Seriously.
agree. I agree.
I mean, you guys allow us to reach an audience that normally we wouldn't be able to. And it's almost like a boutique co-op sometimes, and I mean, it's like as long as we keep coming out with good new stuff, we know that there is going to be somebody out there that is going to introduce it to people that we normally wouldn't maybe reach. And look, I worked retail, I managed the shop. I get it. You want to have what people, number one, are asking for. Two, uh, a reflection of your customer base, right? However,
Mm-hmm.
if all you're going to do is have the same selection that some discount website's going to have, especially if you're in a high tax state, people are going to start counting dollars, man. Money doesn't grow on trees. And especially with some of the things going on, in the world and what may come yet economically, um, people are going to get more and more aware of those types of things. So being able to boutiques are, because you have to be able to differentiate your humidor, man, or people can go anywhere.
I think that's a critical part of it. But I also think it's the education aspect.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I get it. Like, being a retailer is super hard because most of the time you can't really afford to hire quality tobacconists to staff your shop anyway.
Oh,
You just can't.
no. Oh, come on. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, if you take the time to educate your customers and show them why, like, this
Hmm.
patina might be $4 more than something else they enjoy. But if
Hmm.
you educate them on why they're also going to enjoy this and what it offers that they can't get from what they've been smoking,
Hmm.
that's a game changer, man. Game changer. But it all
Right.
starts with the person that's walking them through the humidors or answering questions. And when they
Hmm.
say, like, what's new,
Hmm.
and they don't just fire back with something, but they take the time to say, well, what have you been enjoying? And the time, the consideration is
Hmm.
huge, huge.
100%. I mean, look, if you want to ring a register, you could do that and have a decent business. If you want to make real money though, as a cigar retailer, those extra steps you're talking about are what are going to help keep you in business for many years. And I just don't understand why you would want to do anything, forget cigar retail or even cigar brands or whatever, and not give it your best shot. I mean, if you're going to go for
Yeah, and
something, go for it. Yeah.
the thing is, like, brands like yourself, and I was
Mhm.
talking to Oliver last week, and he was like,
Oh,
I don't hear
legend,
often from
legend.
amazing guy, but you don't hear often from like the Big Ten. But he's like, Mo, I check in with him sometimes, and we talk, and Vlad,
Hmm.
and like a
Hmm.
lot of these smaller brands have the bandwidth to help you push them. They're
Hmm.
more than happy to like do an event with your group, whether it's virtual or
100%,
physical,
man.
whatever. Yeah, but like,
Hmm.
when's the last time you had a big like top five brand have the brand owner come and talk to you about why they designed the band the way they did?
Yeah.
How the cigar evolved over what they were wanting to create versus
Hmm.
what it is now, how the different sizes work. It's usually a
Hmm.
rep, and reps are great, but like smaller brands give you 100% all the time.
You try, man, and you would think, um, look, part of it is the consumer too, though. The reality of the situation is for a retailer, a guy like me coming in their shop is not moving the needle. It just isn't. I mean, there are certain areas where it might, if I have like, whatever, but not really. And truth be told, there are very few people in this industry that are going to move the needle for a retailer just by appearing at their shop. That's
Yeah,
just the reality of the situation, man. You got,
yeah.
again, we talk about being realistic, right? But with that said, the opportunity to personally introduce the brand, to help you make money off of the stuff you brought in. So it's not like a museum piece, right? You
Hmm.
bought it, you want to be able to sell it. Showing that commitment that we're in this with you, and are willing to help you move, rewarding the opportunity to be in our humidor by showing you that, we appreciate it and support it. Um, and you might be the only cigar brand owner their customers ever actually met.
Hmm.
So while you in and of yourself might not bring people through that door, for people that are really into cigars, just to be able to talk to somebody that's close to it, that's in it and whatever, and you might be the first guy they've ever met to do that. So that in and of itself is an experience. And also it is, does the store really get behind the brand? So it is a big deal when you're there,
Yes.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
if the store doesn't believe in it, why should their customers, right? So I mean, it's just a weird. It's like everything kind of fits
Totally.
together, but it's like you're not sure what that first piece actually is that brings things together, if that makes sense.
Well, it's funny you mentioned like one person showing up probably won't increase the bottom line overall. And it reminds
Right.
me of, I think this was 17, maybe 2018. But I was in Knoxville, Tennessee, and
Hmm.
Nicholas Melillo had an event, a foundation event. And I
Hmm.
was so pumped because I was actually stateside at the time, which was rare
Yeah.
for me. And I went to go there, and I was so shocked at the amount of people. They were just on their phone in the corner, like they had an opportunity to talk to another legend,
Yeah.
and they
Nick,
just they were letting it go. But
Nick would qualify as yeah.
yeah, but like nowadays, he would absolutely, like, people are trying to get him in. He just doesn't have enough
Yeah.
time throughout the year. But I
Right.
was so shocked at the apathy to having
Hmm.
one of the greats right in front of you doing so many amazing things for the community.
Hmm.
Ah, but also, I think, to touch on your point a minute ago, connection. The human connection is what we're all seeking. And when you smoke a cigar,
Hmm.
the cigar doesn't have to be great. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like, if the
Yeah.
story is good and your connection to the person
Hmm.
who made this is good, then
Hmm.
a good cigar can become a great experience real
100%,
fast.
man. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, like so many times we smoke cigars on the beach and it's like hot as hell and the wind's blowing and it's not even
Yeah.
burning right, but you're just so happy to have your feet in the sand and like a Mai
Yeah.
Tai or something and a cigar,
Yeah.
and you're just loving that moment. And
Yeah.
if you can help people create moments and experiences and memories
Hmm.
and connection with the cigar,
Yeah.
that's the
Man,
moneymaker.
my favorite things like that I'll get from people messages are like, man, me and my dad were smoking this together and we loved it. And my dad loved, like when I get stories like that, dude, like every so often somebody will message me on Instagram or whatever, and or even friends of mine, they took it to some family event or whatever. And people, that is like the greatest feeling in the world. It's like you're a part of their happy experience, right? And
Yeah.
that definitely is part of it. But Dave, you and I have been talking about this literally for a decade. There is a huge difference between cigar smokers and people that smoke cigars, right? And there just is. I know guys that spend 5 figures a year on cigars and have never heard of Foundation, which has been the
Wow.
hottest, which has been the hottest boutique brand, if you even consider it boutique, and hottest boutique brand on the market for at least the last 4 years. And you might argue since 2019.
Hmm.
And there are people that spend 5 figures and have never heard of Tatawahe.
Wow. Now that is trippy to think about. Damn.
Never smoked a Tatawahe. What's that? So when you step back and realize that even within an already small community of consumers, the people that will actually be interested in a brand like yours is even smaller, right? And that's why I always say, like, boutiques are all in it together. I don't look at other boutique brands as my competition on it. We all open doors for each other,
Yeah.
or close doors for each other depending on how we operate, right? So yeah, it's really important, man. I feel like there's a level of responsibility to the industry, in particularly small brands, to do things the right way. So you could open the doors for other people that are in your situation or particular, like your level, right? So
Hmm.
yeah.
That's a really good point because we talk often about the consumer and the journey, and everybody's on a different journey.
Hmm.
And a lot of ways we graduate on a personal level, but also as consumers, we graduate each other in different ways.
Sure.
And yeah, once you get a run and you're like, man, I love this cigar. Who else is making cigars like this?
Right.
There's a really good chance that if you like a small batch boutique brand, you're going to
Yeah.
like some other small batch boutique brand,
Hmm.
and you can even go factory by factory. Like who's doing small things? Well, big cigars in small
Hmm.
batches
Right.
from Naxa, or
Hmm.
from Aganorsa, or from
Hmm.
all these other things.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I think you're right, man. Everything is a gate, and if you can introduce somebody to this whole new world, money,
Yeah. Hmm.
money. Like
Absolutely.
Friday Ellis at Governor Cigar and Pipe in
Hmm.
2015. When I walked in there, I had no idea who Black Label was, and they
Hmm.
had just started coming out. Um, no idea who a lot of brands were, but they were so exciting to me
Right.
because they were totally different from anything I've ever smoked before.
Hmm.
And that's what boutique brands can do because they're not making 500,000 of these that could be a hit
Right.
or miss.
Right.
They might only be doing 5,000 or 10,000 of
Hmm.
them testing the market.
Hmm.
Awesome.
Absolutely. It's funny. I joked with James Brown. I said, I noticed that after, we released the Sultans cigar that Black Label really became popular and started to take off. So, you're welcome.
Dude, that's awesome. Right? You killed the Aniversario number 2.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You propped
Yeah.
Black Label up for success.
Yeah.
Joe
Yeah.
Maali, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, right. No,
Throwback.
he's he like chuckled, but I mean look, when they went to the new Oveja Negra, we had done Sultans right around that time, and then they started to do some amazing stuff out of there, and that brand is so much bigger, and I mean it's incredible. Nothing to do with Sultans, obviously, but because of Black Label's growth, the Sultan cigars kind of became like a cult thing. So people really started seeking them. It only took
Yes.
us like 5 years to sell out of those things, but we did.
Dude,
They
that
were
box press.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
that
Max
thing was
Press.
awesome.
I
Awesome.
know.
And then the Habano, remember, was it Kyle from Ezra Zion said that Habano was like one of the best Habanos he ever smoked?
It was great. I mean, they
Oh
were
yeah,
really good cigars, and listen, they were all James Brown. It's not like Drew and I. I mean, he just put stuff together and sent us samples. I mean, it wasn't like we just told him what wrappers we wanted to use,
right.
um, and so it wasn't like, admittedly, it was just for a podcast. It wasn't like but that opened the door to wanting to know more, and then that's how Patina came to be for me. But yeah,
And I mean, I think that was one of the first, at least the first few white label projects from Oveja Negra, though. I
yes.
what it might have been the first.
It was us, and then it was some other guy, man, Provencia, or he had a blue and
Oh,
white band. He had a
mm-hmm.
blue and white band. I don't remember the name of it exactly, but I think James might have been doing stuff for Emilio too.
That's true. That's true. I don't really count Emilio because that seems
Yeah.
like a much bigger thing. But you're right. I think
Right.
he
Yeah.
had been doing some stuff
Yeah.
at that time.
Yeah. But we
And
were definitely one of the first for sure.
yeah. And now, I mean, look at him. Black Label does so many amazing white label projects. Dude, I think
Hmm.
personally, for me, the Blackwork Studio, I mean, I still don't understand. I've asked James about this a couple times, and he breaks it down so succinctly, and I
Right.
still don't understand the need for like a daughter brand. But the Black Label, I mean, the Blackwork Studio brands, oh my
Hmm.
God, they're
Hmm.
amazing.
Yeah.
Like he keeps getting better. His
Hmm.
blending prowess is not slowing down
Right.
at all.
Yeah. Yeah,
Incredible.
man. Sometimes it makes sense because if like you can't get a ton of a certain tobacco or something like that, but you really like, you can make a certain number of cigars with it and whatnot, and that can't necessarily be a core line or, it's kind of like, think about it in terms of cars, right? So like, like Chevy, you'll have your base model, maybe you'll have whatever. And then your SS is your, like, if you're looking at old school muscle cars or something, like the SS is the top of the line, but they didn't make a lot of them because, the engines were massive or something like that. But, it's no different. And then, a lot of blends, are similar to cars and production of cars. I mean, in the sense that once you have a good platform, right, you could
Mm,
build multiple cars on that platform.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So if you have a solid base blend, you could do so much with that, right?
Hmm.
Change the wrapper, change a little bit of the filler or the binder or this or that.
Yeah.
So,
Dude, it's incredible. So many folks, and we've talked about this at length in the past too, but so many folks think that the wrapper is 70% of the flavor. But I
mhm.
guarantee you, if you take a filler leaf that was a 10% filler leaf and you swap that, it'll blow your mind too, how much it changes. Every single leaf on this is so incredible. And you're right, you get a base blend that works, tweak a little bit here and there, and
It's
off to the races.
incredible. There are guys in the industry that have mastered that and have done amazing things. So, um, yeah, dude, it really doesn't take much, because it could literally be an amount, like you said,
Hmm.
or it could be just literally taking out one thing
Hmm.
or adding one thing. So everything's interaction, right?
Speaking of these limited editions and the fifth anniversary for Patina,
Hmm.
how did that go for you, man?
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I know they sold out everywhere, but like,
Yeah, yeah.
Are you thinking about doing it again? I know that was your first LE.
Well,
How
we're
did
doing
that
it.
feel?
It was cool, man. I mean, look, it won when it won Developing Palate Cigar of the Year. I was like floored. I was like, I love those guys. They're tough on cigars,
They are.
and
Yeah.
they're hilarious, man. And so when it won that, I was like, all right, yeah, that's pretty solid. But so the LE 2024 is coming out, the Patina. That should be here in a couple weeks. That is the anniversary blend in a 5x54. So I want to take people on a journey of the same blend, but through different vitolas for the next couple
Mm,
years. You know,
nice.
that's
Yes.
kind of like the thinking of it. And it was really, really good in the 6x52. It's pretty damn incredible in the 5x54. 2025 is going to be a 7x49, 7x48. It smokes
Ooh.
awesome in that. So basically like a Churchill.
Yeah. Is it gonna be box
So
pressed
that's the play.
or just
No, it'll be just round, basically Churchill broadly. Um,
nice?
it's awesome. So I'm really excited, man. Like for me, okay, look. So you and I have talked about this too. For me, everything is about repeatability, consistency, doing it over and over and over and over again, and being able to replicate and duplicate and whatever. When it comes to broadleaf, rather than pigeonhole myself into a core line and then being like, yeah, I don't know. I decided to just focus the limiteds using broadleaf as a wrapper. I use broadleaf in every cigar, but just in different ways. Um, so yeah, man, it's just kind of fun, and
Yeah.
you only do 5,000 sticks, so it's not crazy. I feel like for the size of the brand, that allows everybody who wants to get it to get it. Um, and it's limited enough to where it actually means something, you know. At
Hmm.
the end of the day, 500 boxes of the 10 count is really not that many. So,
Right.
um, yeah, I mean, it's good, man. So that's it. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm big. You got to let the market tell you. The market will tell you what it wants. That's why the next few releases of Patina are going to be on the stronger end of the spectrum. I feel like we've built the core of mild medium, and now it's time to, starting with the Oro de Nicaragua and the next cigar that's coming out next year, which is going to be, really good, and I'm excited about it. But even the story kind of behind that is cool too. So, um, you know, just stuff like that. You got to listen to the market, man. The market will tell you where you kind of need to go.
And the whole reason I asked about limited editions is because I remember your negative affinity. I can't think of the right word. The negative
Mhm.
affinity towards LEs and wanting something to be sustainable, core
Yes.
product. People can find it often, not getting upset.
Yes. And so I'm still a big believer in that, but the market was also telling me like, hey man, like I've always been like the fifth anniversary was a note. You got to celebrate the milestones you make.
Yeah.
That is deserved of a limited edition. There's no doubt about that. And I remember one of my favorite cigars ever was a 2013 Don Pepin, which really, that was celebrating the 5 years of my father at that time. And that cigar revolutionized the way I looked at Habano wrappers because I hadn't really been smoking a lot of Habano wrap cigars at that time. And so I was like, holy cow, man, this is fantastic. And to this day is one of my favorite cigars ever. Um, but at the same time, when you're a boutique brand, you also have to kind of appeal to the people that like that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
again, when you're keeping the quantity so small, it allows you to come out with stuff like that without bastardizing your brand and becoming just like a limited edition type deal, right? So that's
And
kind of how I
I
look
mean,
at it.
Dude, I think you're on the money that so many patina fans wanted an Ellie. So in a way, it
Mhm.
was kind of like throwing back to your fan base because I mean, all the time I hear people are like, or before, especially before, they were
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I just can't wait for a patina limited edition.
Yeah, man, it was like time. It was because you just kept hearing it. Again, everything is
Mm-hmm.
the Oro de Nicaraguan, the precipitation, the 4x50 that we put into production. That's because feedback from people.
Mm-hmm.
I respect if you're gonna take your money that you work hard for and you're gonna spend it on patina, you better damn believe you're gonna have a voice in the direction of how things go. Okay? Period. I'm always listening. I'm always welcoming feedback. And a lot of the new direction of where we're going with the next few blends is because of what people, retailers, consumers, um, all of that, man. So it's important to listen to the people that are spending their money on your product. That's crucial. And of course, you
I
can't
agree.
chase everything. Some things don't make sense, but if it makes sense, you know, we're gonna seriously look at it, you know?
Dude, see, once again, that's why you support smaller brands. Not only do they make incredible products with their name still attached to it, and they want to, outperform and beat your expectations, but they hear you. That's awesome.
Absolutely. So, dude, whether you like it or not, your brand is you in a way. I don't know how people could separate it. God bless. I can't. It's like when people tell you, "Oh, it's business, not personal." Well, your business is affecting my personal life. So, yeah, it is both. There's also
Yeah.
that's like the biggest cop out of being a prick to people, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
That like it's like that's just a nonsense mentality. Everything you do has an effect, regardless of what level of life or aspect of life.
Dude, speaking of being a prick, have you seen Chaos on Netflix?
No, I have not watched much TV in a long time.
Oh, I know you're pounding the streets and
No,
kicking
no, no,
ass.
no, 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 not that. I've been look, I'm not pretending to be a man of the cloth or something like that. I do take stuff like that seriously. However, I just feel like the debauchery on TV is just too much. Like some of these shows are just, I mean, it's to the point, man, where it's like this is just disgusting. Like, so
Yeah.
I made a personal decision to kind of like not watch as much stuff. Um,
Mm.
Shows even I used to love are hard for me to watch now.
Wow.
And I don't know what that change was. I don't know how I mean, I have an idea of how, but I I don't take enjoyment as much in that kind of stuff as I think I used to. I don't know why.
Interesting. So you
But anyway, okay,
unplug.
so go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say Jeff Goldblum is like the perfect on-screen being a prick
Hmm. Hmm.
at everything. Jeff Goldblum
Hmm.
is just perfect at
Yeah.
it. But
Hmm.
that's
He's
interesting,
got
man.
me.
So you unplugged, and the further you got removed from the situation, the more it became unappealing.
Yes.
Mm,
Yes.
I can see that. I mean,
Hmm.
especially after Tiger King came out. I mean, we should all we should all be
Yeah.
ashamed.
Yeah. Hmm.
Wow.
I just
What did you do during COVID? Did this start
oh no,
after
I was
COVID
still
or?
watching a lot of TV at that time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
About to say, well, God bless, man. Like, how did you
Hmm.
do that?
No, no. Well, I was taking care of my parents too, so that was.
Mm,
But another part of it though is having lost both my parents in such a short period of time within each other, being their primary caretaker, it really kind of made me more focused on living
mm,
and being around people that I care about, interacting with people I care about. Um, because dude, tomorrow's not guaranteed. And so I would much rather spend time doing stuff, then maybe. So my attitude kind of shifted as a result of some of that stuff too, you know.
Mhm.
Besides just the ridiculousness of some of the stuff that these people are putting out. But it makes money, so they're going to continue doing it. So,
Yeah, that's a really good point, man. Um, and I think honestly, that's why cigars. I've never smoked a cigarette, and I have no desire to smoke a
mhm.
cigarette.
No long darts for Dave.
Yeah, but the cigar is kind of like what you just talked about. It's not something that you rush through. It doesn't help
Mhm.
you avoid living. It's not a
Right,
coping mechanism. I mean,
right.
cigars usually bring people together. It usually
Hmm.
involves good conversation, and
Hmm.
it's a whole experience. And you make memories out of cigars.
100%. 100%, man. I could name countless times off the top of my head of moments where I've been able to share a cigar with certain people. And it's one of my favorite, memories of my entire life. Cigars are
Hmm.
just different, man. Nothing brings people together in this world like cigars. Nothing.
Yep.
Nothing. Period. Across
Yeah.
racial lines, gender lines, socioeconomic lines, nothing. This is the great equalizer.
It is, man.
Period.
Yeah. Every lounge you walk into, you'll see people in
Mhm.
suits, you'll see people in overalls, and like myself in shorts and flip flops, and it doesn't
100%.
matter.
Yeah.
And they force you to slow down, and
Yeah.
like you
Hmm.
can try to go to a lounge and sit on your phone. You can try that all you want.
Right.
But I hope you don't have something pressing because somebody's going to ask what you're smoking and you're going to
Right.
start talking about the cigar and then it's game
Hmm.
over. Now
Yeah.
you're just in the mix.
Hmm. Hmm. Absolutely, man. It's the greatest. No doubt.
How'd that lunch go down?
It was good, man. I enjoyed it.
What was your favorite of the two?
Oh, the beef.
Yeah.
Yeah, beef sandwiches. Yeah, and I mean, I know. So Portillo's was a Chicago thing. It got bought out by private equity. So now they're starting to pop up in different parts of the country. So the reason I chose that for today was versus like a smaller mom and pop was because if somebody watching this does have a Portillo's near them now, that's kind of what it is. And go get yourself a beef sandwich with some hot peppers. You can get sweet peppers too, but I like hot peppers. And knock it out, man, kill it. Which brings me to another thing, though. A lot of us, as we get older, especially, and I know I need to lose some weight. We got to be really careful. Man, it's like I can't eat like I used to when you're in your 20s or whatever. So just a reminder to take care of yourselves too. It's important.
It is, man. I recently just started taking creatine again. I haven't taken it in a
Oh
long
yeah,
time.
the greatest.
And
That's the goal.
it is, man. And like I just started taking it for my knees again because I was like, I can't really go to the gym and have a good workout like I used to for leg day
Sure,
because my knees and ankles are just always hurting. And I thought, well,
everything
if I
hurts.
can
Yeah.
just expand those muscle cells a little bit, fill them with some
Hmm.
more fluid, maybe it'll
Hmm.
help. And you know what? It
Yeah.
has. I've only been taking
Yeah.
it 2 weeks. Knee
Hmm.
pain, so much better
Hmm.
at the gym.
Oh yeah.
So much better.
Dude, yeah, these days, I had a softball game. I was playing in a softball league. I tweaked my hamstring like an idiot. I should have known better. Like, I don't know. It's like you step on that field and you think you're 20 again. And it's like, dude, you're not. And you're 100 pounds heavier. So,
Yeah,
so
I get that
it's
all the
a,
time.
I think just like anything else too, we talk about like evolving with your, right sizing your approach to life with where you're at in life.
Yeah.
So that's
And
that.
that's a good point too. Going back to what you said earlier about like realizing what's actually happening and then giving yourself grace.
Hmm.
It's easy to say, "Oh, I'm not young anymore," and just kind of be upset at that. But on the other hand, being older has its advantages too. You know, we get to do this kind of stuff during the
Yeah,
day.
absolutely.
It's beautiful. It's
Dude, are
different,
you look
but it's beautiful.
you enjoy all the parts of the journey. If you are in your 40s, there are people that passed away in their 20s, wish they could be your age. What are you looking backwards for? And thank God you're alive. There are people
Yeah.
getting blown up in the world right now. Every day's a gift. You have that special cigar, smoke it. You don't need a reason. You're alive, dude. You know? And man, I always say, there's no way, if you're continually living like this, you're just how are you ever gonna step forward?
Dude,
Impossible.
that's a good point.
It's
It's a good
impossible.
point.
You know?
And for so many years, like just deploying and just going to do a job in
Mm-hmm.
a foreign area and then
Mm-hmm.
coming home, you get stuck in the rigmarole. It's like the rat race, right? You're just not
Mm-hmm.
in corporate America, you're just in a different type of a environment.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, stopping that and getting out and experiencing nature and
Yeah.
being part of a community again is huge.
Absolutely.
Huge.
We are not meant to be creatures in isolation or embrace the wisdom that comes with age, that too. Yeah, it's just can't keep looking backwards, man. Yeah, you'll never grow. You'll never grow. And that's how that I noticed that's when people get really frustrated, like you were saying, like uh is when they can't accept that, like, yeah, you get older. I mean, I was and
Yeah.
and you just and you my approach at the gym now is not the same as when I was 10 years younger or 15 years younger. How's that possible? You can't unless you're on other
Dude,
stuff.
my approach to the gym is not even the same it was 18 months ago.
Right. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man.
Yeah. I think back and I saw something on my Google Photos memory,
Mm-hmm.
and it was 2 years ago, and I was benching 405.
Mm-hmm.
Barely. It was my single rep max. I was really
Yeah,
trying to
that's
get it like
monster.
I
Monster.
was trying to get it for two. I never could. I could only do it
Yeah.
once. But it jacked up my wrist. I've had some shoulder pain. It's
Mm-hmm.
never been the same.
It's
But
always the
after
left
that,
shoulder, by the way. Yeah.
every time. And
Mm-hmm.
I've learned that like you don't have to do that. It and that experience taught me like the injuries that came from that
Mm-hmm.
that it's just like with money, man. Like the people that don't have it are always trying to prove that they have it. Same thing in the
100%.
gym. The
Oh
people
yeah.
that are giant monsters in the gym know how to use smaller weights effectively and to not put themselves at risk.
100%.
And
You
that's what I
know,
was doing.
absolute man. Look at you don't see. I mean, you do, but a lot of times the biggest dude is in like a hoodie and some sweatpants, and like it's like the 120-pound kid soaking wet that's walking around in his tank top. It truly is a microcosm of life.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is, man, because you see
Yeah.
that in a lot of different arenas. People that
You
usually
do.
talk the loudest are making up for a lack of action, right?
Yeah.
So or
Yeah.
substance.
It's super interesting how that works
Hmm.
out.